Okay, but so and that's why I say, guys, when he's running, he threatens to do total complete shutdown of Muslims. Yeah. He threatens to arrest and deport people, etc. But he didn't necessarily do it. So for example, they said lock her up, and then he got into office and he said, no, I'm not locking Hillary Clinton up. So I have an open mind. But when he threatens, so when he threatens those type of things, I go, I am deeply, deeply concerned. Now here's other things.
Okay. You don't call Trump Hitler, and you don't call the Republicans Nazis. But when you say the word fascist, as you say, the meaning of that word has been eroded. That's where most people's minds is going to go, right?
So what do you guys tell me, what should I call his obvious dictatorial tendencies?
And
his obvious over-the-top racism.
You know what? Actually, this is a really great question, because what I'd love for you to do is, and this is a genuine question, I'm not trying to catch you out or anything like that. I genuinely am interested. I have heard a lot of rhetoric from people about Donald Trump and the concerns that they have about the next 4 years. And, you know, people use words like fascist, dictatorial, etc. What do you fear over the next 4 years he is going to do that makes you say in the present moment that he's dictatorial, fascist? What is he going to do you think?
Yeah. So again, I don't know that he's going to do it because there's countervailing forces.
What do you fear?
And I think the countervailing forces are super interesting, and we should talk about that. Yeah. And I'm really interested to see which way the right wing goes in this country under Trump. But the worst case scenario is he gets frazzled and feels challenged, and he falls back on what he always does, which is just protect his ego. And so he starts pilfering, and that's very much in his nature. Grab, take, because now there's no accountability. What are you going to do, impeach him? What are you going to do, arrest him? No accountability, there's no brakes in the car. So we're all at his mercy.
Sorry to interrupt, but this is important for clarity. What do you mean by pilfering? He's going to be pilfering and pilfering.
Okay, so easy examples, but there's a million of these. He puts Jared Kushner in charge of the Middle East last time around, and Saudi Arabia. Jared Kushner at some point goes to Saudi Arabia, talks to Mohammed bin Salman, and right afterwards, Mohammed bin Salman arrests a whole bunch of people. Okay, I don't want to get too much into what happened in that meeting and what the results were, but whatever it was, Mohammed bin Salman was super pleased because right after the election, he gives Jared Kushner $2 billion to manage, but he gets 2 and 20 on that. So if you know private equity and how that works, what that means is he's going to make hundreds of millions of dollars. So if Hunter Biden got a $2 billion deal from the Saudis after Joe Biden left office, I was like, Hunter Biden's not a Ukrainian gas expert. That's nuts. Okay. And that was $5 million.
So you already saw it, folks. You saw it in Cenk's eyes. You saw it as soon as he opened up his mouth. He has no clue as to what he's talking about. You saw Konstantin saying, listen, I'm not trying to trip you up. I just want to know, with all the rhetoric that's out there, you're saying that you didn't call him Hitler, but you are certainly saying you're a fascist, you're a dictator, you're all of this. What is he going to do? So then what does Cenk does? Well, the pilfering, the thievery, the taking out. Jared Kushner got some money from, listen, I mean, how is that pilfering? How is that stealing? This is what happens in the world of geopolitics. There was nothing illegal about getting that money. So Francis Foster asked him, define pilfering. Oh, there's a million things that are out there. Let me just name you a few. And then they say, what if Hunter Biden had got it? Hunter Biden got millions and millions of dollars. He was getting stipends monthly of up to $800,000 a month. For what? For a Chinese venture capital firm? Burisma, the oil and gas company or energy company that he was sitting on a board with? And he's saying, you know, what if Hunter Biden? And you're going to see throughout this episode, folks, that Kisin continually tries to ask Cenk, the Cenk, from the Young Turks, the Young Jerks, continually try to ask him, define, let us know, give us an example, over and over again, like a prosecutor, basically. And Cenk continues to avoid answering the question, goes off on these tangents, goes off on these rants like he always does, blubbering, buffoonery, has no answer to the question. And that's what I keep saying, and a lot of people say, that Cenk the Cenk has got TDS, which is Trump Derangement Syndrome 2.0. Anyways, let's continue.
Is that his family will benefit financially
And
from
him.
his president,
Yeah.
and him will benefit financially. What
and
else?
his donors,
And
most of all his
and
donors.
And his donors.
What else?
Okay, so that's, but to be fair to Trump, like part of the reason the establishment hates him is because he's systemically and personally corrupt, whereas they're just largely systemically
Look,
corrupt.
I'm accepting
right?
all this for the sake of argument without
Yeah,
challenging,
and-
because I just want you to get to like the real fascism that he's going to do
Right.
that you worry
So
about.
the
Yeah,
reason
get
I'm
to it,
saying that
Cenk,
is
get
because
to it.
Since most of the politicians are systemically corrupt anyway, that's not the fascism
That's
I'm
my
referring
point.
to. Yeah.
Right. So where's the
okay.
fascism?
So he says, I'm going to deport all the undocumented immigrants. So some people might say, yeah, good. Rip them out of their homes, 13, 15 million people, whatever it is. Oh, they're running a diner. They're beloved in their neighborhood. They married an American citizen. Whatever they did, I don't care. And their kids are American citizens. Rip them away from their babies and send them to goddamn
Never
back
gonna
home.
happen.
Now, that's a debatable point as to whether that's fascism. My guess is that if he starts doing it, and you start seeing people ripped out of their homes, that people are going to go, oh, that don't look good.
I don't think he's going to do that.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're going to
They
find out.
both
He might
said
not.
that.
We're going to find out.
But if he
okay?
was to, let's say, I think the more likely scenario, I don't know if you agree with Cenk, but I think it's possible.
Oh, he won't, 'cause
that
you're
this is the more
gonna give
likely
him a sane
scenario, is he deports
explanation.
all the people who've committed a crime in this country who are illegal immigrants, right? People not only came here illegally, but have committed a crime, and people who don't have American family and don't have dependents here. Let's say he was to deport all those people. Would that be fascism in your view?
I don't even know if he deported all the undocumented immigrants, it would be fascism. I'm not even stipulating
Okay,
to
so
that.
let's get to the fascism, though.
Yeah.
'cause this
Yeah,
is what I
again.
wanna get to,
Yeah.
right?
And by the way, people who committed crimes should obviously be deported.
Right.
No
Yeah,
one
we agree.
disagrees
Good,
with
correct.
that. So then the thing that I'm concerned about is both him and the potential attorney general saying, if you're on a campus and you're protesting Trump, you're protesting Israel, you're protesting the oil companies, you're protesting something we don't like, arrest and deport you. Wait, what happened to cancel culture? I mean, arresting someone for protesting or voicing their speech is the most both cancel culture you could do. I mean, you're taking the guy's
Agreed.
freedom away, right?
Yeah, agreed. But
deporting people that are American citizens. What the hell are you talking
Yeah,
about?
you can't do that. But did he do any of that in his first term?
So he didn't.
So he didn't. Right, so he didn't. But he said he was going to. And as Cenk always says, of course. And I'll just add, he didn't.
He didn't do that.
Okay.
Okay, but and that's why I say, guys, when he's running, he threatens to do total complete shutdown of Muslims.
Yeah.
He threatens to arrest and deport people, etc. But he didn't necessarily do it. So for example, they said lock her up, and then he got into office and he said, no, I'm not locking Hillary Clinton up. So I have an open mind. I have an open
Cenk, the reason your mind is open is because there's nothing there, buddy. Bruh, it's completely empty. It's open and empty. It's Kisin and Francis are trying to put some stuff into your mind, some sanity. But man, you're bleeding your brain, whatever is left of it, completely dry, bruh.
open mind.
But
But when
what
he
other
threatens,
fascism?
so when he threatens those type of things, I go, I am deeply, deeply concerned. Now, here's other things.
Yeah.
So they had a 3-hour meeting after he lost the election, where Michael Flynn and I believe Sidney Powell, don't quote me on that, I don't want to get sued, okay, but definitely Michael Flynn said,
A 3-hour tour. It was a 3-hour tour.
let's use martial law. Let's roll out the tanks, okay? And we won this election, and we're going to correct the fraud, and let's go grab the actual ballot machines, okay? And Trump was like, okay, now I'm listening. Now we're having a conversation. And that's why it lasted 3 hours.
So you
At the
feel-
end, hold on.
No, hold on. You're talking about something that already happened. I'm asking you about the future. Let's just stick with that.
No, but that's totally relevant.
No,
I'm
it's not.
Which is why I'm asking you the question to follow up. So do you fear that at the end of this 4-year period, he's not going to relinquish power? Is that what you're saying?
So since he didn't relinquish power last time, yes.
Well, ultimately
one
he
of the
did,
things-
but you fear...
come on, guys.
Fine, let's accept that for the sake of argument again. So you fear that at the end of this 4-year period, when he can no longer run for election again, you fear that he will not hand over the presidency.
A guy who said, let's terminate the Constitution, considered martial law, and had a fake elector plot to steal an election, might he try to stay in power? Of course, he tried to do it once.
Well, that's good. So we got to. So you fear that at the end.
Of course. He's going to stay in power, folks. He's not going to relinquish power. I mean, the Trump derangement syndrome that comes out of Cenk the Cenk and others like him is unfreaking believable.
End of this 4-year period, he will not vacate the White House.
That is one of my concerns, absolutely, and that alone is a deal breaker.
Well, it'd be a deal breaker for anyone, left and right, no question.
Except it wasn't, because he already tried to do it, and the right was like, no big deal, no big deal.
I don't think that's
It was a
quite,
giant deal.
Yeah, I don't think that's quite true.
No,
but
it
anyway,
wasn't, Cenk the Cenk.
That's your big concern.
So that's number one. Number two is the reason I was telling you about martial law
An hour later, we get to number 2.
is because he's also said, let's use the military to shoot the protesters in the legs. Let's use the National Guard to arrest citizens, etc. When you're talking about arresting or shooting U.S. citizens and you using the military to do that because you don't like their protests, and you could be livid about their protests, it doesn't matter.
Sure, it's
we have a
un-American.
right to protest.
Of course.
And when he says that, and he has definitively said that and said it on the record, if you go and do that, now that there are no breaks in the guard, and there is no General Milley, and there is no General Kelly, and they're not going to be able
Those
to stop
two
it. If he
idiots.
does that, do you guys agree that would be fascism?
Well, of course.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
so
good.
your great concerns are just, so
Yep.
to replay it for people, and then I'll hand over to Francis, are number one, at the end of the 4-year term that he currently has, he's not going to hand over the presidency, number one. And number two, he is going to be deeply un-American about the way he handles free speech and the right to protest and the right to free assembly. In other words, he will take protesters and strip them of citizenship. He will have the army shoot them. He will imprison people for turning up on a college campus and burning an American flag, let's say. Those are your two main kind of like, this is the fascism that might happen. Have I got you right?
That's right. And I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen.
But that's
I'm
your
saying
concern.
he has.
No, it's not definitely going to happen. Of course not. I'm just saying it because he says it, you know. So just because I'm saying it, I don't think that's going to really happen. But even if it doesn't happen, he's still a fascist. That's Cenk the Cenk's conclusion. That's his TDS, his Trump derangement syndrome, folks. I mean, so Francisco, so you basically say he's not going to relinquish power. He's going to, you know, take matters into his own hands when people voice different opinions and protest him. So he's going to arrest him or shoot him in the legs or whatever. He's going to throw him in jail and toss away the keys. And that's fascism. Of course, it's going to be fascism if he does that. But do you think he's really going to do that? Probably not. But if he does, then that's fascism, right? Unbelievable, folks. It really is. That's the rhetoric that we've been hearing for what, 9 years now? 9 years we've been hearing that? And then post-election, it just continues. So I just continue to hope that people like Cenk the Cenks and the people at the Young Turks, the Young Turks, just keep going in that lane. Keep driving down that thing. Don't let anybody else get the steering wheel. Don't go left, don't go right. Yeah, don't merge. Just continue down that lane of Trump derangement syndrome. We love it because 4 years from now or 2 years from now, we're just going to add to our wins. And then 4 years from now, we're just going to continue to do that because you guys will never learn and we don't want to help you. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show. I've been your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Put your comments down below. What do you think of Cenk the Cenk? I mean, come on. You're asking questions in that 10 minutes. He didn't do anything else. He just bloviate and blubber about things that somebody says. Never did anything. Trump never did any of those, but just, he might. He said it. Anyways, my final thought. When you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, y'all take care and stay safe.